Hello and welcome everybody once again to URS, the Undercut Realistic Series. We are back for round number 8 of the season. We are about to be two-thirds of the way of the season done. As you may notice, the main commentator Morgan Cheeseman is not here today. Welcome, Burning Man. Glad to have
Hello,
you once
I
again.
am back. It's been a while.
It has been. It has been severely a long time.
How
I think
long has
since
it
round
actually
1 or
been?
2.
Yeah,
Round 1, maybe? Yeah.
yeah,
You joined us at the start of the season, so now you're back for round number 8.
yeah.
Good to have you. How are
Plus,
you?
it's decent. Looking forward to this race though, because I do like Bahrain. It's pretty good for racing. Plus the fact that it's obviously obviously in the same day as the actual Bahrain race, which is cool. Yeah, anyway, very good.
Exactly. Well, last week in round number 7 in Canada, we had quite interesting results. I think you if you look at the Discord,
Yeah,
can you
let me have
go
a
over
look.
results while I figure out invites here?
Yep, sure. Race results. Jesus, what happened? I didn't actually get to watch the race. I didn't. It was a DSQ. Oh yeah, Brute. Of course, he got
Yeah,
DSQ'd. I remember his pen now.
the penalty points. Yeah, we'll go over the seat changes in a minute.
Yeah, we'll just ignore that for now. Right, obviously winning the race is Chungus, the big goat, Chungus goat. Second, Hissy in the Merc, finishing just about 2 seconds behind, and then Pluto very close behind him. Third behind Hissy. Fourth, Jab. Fifth, Matty Moo. Sixth was Will Chromac. Seventh was Rowdy. Eighth was Joseph. Lost track. There it is. Ninth was Outlook-On, and 10th was Riles. So that means the points standing, if I can find it. The drivers standing, the top three right now is Jab, with 77 points, he's in third. Polo got his second, 98 points, and Chungus in first with 194 points. However, in fourth, Pluto, not far behind Jab, on 71. In the championship standing, in third is Alfa Romeo with 75 points. Second is Haas with 178. And in first, unsurprisingly, is Williams in 201. It's looking like Williams is having quite a good season here.
Yeah, they are.
It's been a good little
Absolutely
battle
are.
between Haas and Williams so far, though. Going backwards and forwards a bit. Yeah, I haven't really. Obviously, I haven't had a lot of time to be watching the races. So I was just surprised to see that many DNFs.
Absolutely. Just trying to get the rest of the drivers in here. I think we have Pluto and the other Williams and the reserve for Aston.
Yeah.
Speaking of driver changes, I'm going to go over driver changes. It's been quite a bit since you've been in here, but now in the McLaren replacing Rowdy TJ Boy due to internet is LSJ Rundle. Rundle made a start in Brazil. He is back. First race full time though. There'll be a second different car he gets to race this season. Rowdy TJ Boy had to be replaced due to constant issues with internet. LSJ Rundle now helps McLaren out, keep that battle for third or fourth up. Another battle is in regards to Alpine and fighting their way up to the table in the constructors. Carlos Sainz joins the league. He's going to be making his debut start. He's from GSR, met him over there. Yonder is someone who could back up the fact that he's had great battles with him. It's great to have him here. He replaces GSR Riles. Riles left last week after there was a penalty distributed to him in Canada. He was going to retire at the end of the season. He decided to call it quits early. So there you go.
Can't believe we've got a professional driver from F1 racing with us today. Insane.
And Beatnik replaces Brute in the Aston Martin. He will not be here today. Beatnik will not be. So there you go.
All right. Me quickly. Volumes down. They are.
I have no idea what's going on in the
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Didn't it?
reserve chat.
Someone said they got kicked from the game. I think it was Chungus.
That was Chungus. Yes, he is joined back in now.
Perfect. And then Jab is and he still needs another invite. Let me quickly do that. Where is Jab? Friend, I can find.
Jab, let me just make sure if he is joining McQually, just to be 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Are you joining McQually? Because he said he was possibly going to. Another thing as well this weekend is the penalties to be served. Still not going to change anything this weekend, with GSR Thrasher having a 15-second time penalty for the ridding up rule breach. And Blue Goggy has a qualifying ban for his incident in Canada. In Q3 with Chungus Goat, that is what happened.
It was quite a, yeah, not a very good incident there.
Got in the way. Toward the hairpin.
100%
Water bottle
got in the
dropped, if
way.
you heard
That's a
that.
bit. I mean, I hate to be a bit brutal, but that's a bit of an understatement. But yeah, Qualiban, he'll find it difficult if he wants to go on to get a high position finish. So he may just have to settle for, I guess, a couple points if
We'll
he's
see.
lucky.
We'll see.
But yeah,
It
let's wait and
depends on
see.
what happens here.
Depends on what happens. Exactly.
And another thing is, you know, the previous week heading into Canada, Williams and Haas were tied. Polo and Chungus were tied. Now it's completely different. The whole standings are shooken up, and I like it. I like how that's turned out to be.
Yeah.
Another thing as well are the reserves racing today. Let's go over them, and then we'll go over a quick briefing of last season at Bahrain and before last season as well, with season 1 and season 2, excuse me, because we have raced this track every season in URS. Hissy is reserving in the Mercedes. He got a podium last week in Canada. That was his first podium. He has practiced very well, having some great pace in what looks to be time trial. A last-minute practice from Hissy. In the Alpinist Fire King, his last start came in Britain earlier this season. He also made his one appearance in season 3 in this race last season. Aaron Ocon will need an invite back to the session as he has lagged out. While that's happening as well, Ardle is in the Aston Martin. He is racing. He's a driver from BRL. No, not the BRL that Lodgevik knows. The Breakout Racing League BRL. He races over there, and he gets to have fun making a reserve appearance today. He's also one of 2 drivers making his debut, so I'm interested to see, with this kind of little newer grid, who's making their debut. You're kind of getting the new drivers in over a lot of the veterans in the league. You see Rowdy, Riles, all veterans. Rowdy dropped from a full-time seat, now a reserve. Riles completely out of the league, not racing anymore, he said. And then in their place, we have Carlos Sainz, Rundle, and then even Beatnik making his return. A little nostalgia from that. And even though he's not here today, Beatnik, Ardle is in his place, and that's a driver making his debut. So that will be lovely to see. We'll find out what happens in this qualifying session with them displaying their debuts in the league. The first driver out on track in Q1 is Hissy.
It'd be very fun to watch it. I'm very much looking forward to watching this race. And I just like Bahrain. It's a very fun track that I love watching.
Well, I know why you do like Bahrain, because let's go over previous seasons quickly before Hissy does start his lap. Season 2 in this race, it was a season finale. In that season finale race, you qualified quite well. It didn't end up so well.
Mate,
You got to watch your
still annoyed
friend there.
about what happened with the game, man.
Got to watch your friend there, Atlantis J20, take his final race win in league racing, and his final full-time start as well. That was too. He ended up winning that race, his first race after so long. He just ended up coming on the podium.
Nice to pop.
Couldn't get the job done. Finally did. Riles crashed with him. That caused him to lose the championship. It seemed like it was a downfall since then. And Davis ended up winning the championship. I think he's watching in support of Fire King and Thrasher today, so that should be tons of fun. For Davis, season 1 in this race, it was the first Bahrain Grand Prix, round number 4. Davis won his first race then as well. Aaron Ocon took a second podium. Pluto took a first. And Thrasher's most recent pole in league racing, well, I should say in URS, came at this racetrack in season 1. And then the last season, it was the first sprint race. Calm took his first race victory. Pluto took the first sprint victory. Let's get on board with Hissy. And in fact, Hissy's driving the same car that Com was back last season in this race. Hissy actually filling in for Joe Hansel this time, as Joe Hansel not going to be racing this race today. He said he has a personal matter that has came up. I believe it was a birthday of one of his family members, so we hope that should be a lot of fun toward Joe. As for Goggy, he is serving his qualifying ban, so ignore that right there. However, Hissy coming to the end of the first sector, 29-1 so far. And this now means for Hissy, 4 drivers he has to beat. He was in an easy position to do that last week, seeing as last week in Canada, he was benefited by the fact that it's a wheel racetrack. Now turn 9 and 10, which we saw as a big lockup part. 4 drivers in the real-life F1 race earlier today. And the factor is, too, for Hissy, is that he's running no ABS, so we should be seeing where he locks up and where he doesn't. Now on the run to turn 11 for Hissy. This is a corner that's tricky with traction. You could be tricky with it, whether you're on wheel or pad, whatever it may be. Now he comes to the sector split. It's going to be an 8-3. Now, the first corner of Sector 3, then the last 2. Going off track there is the Alpine. That is Carlos, I believe. However, not going to get in the way too much of Hissy's lap as he comes to the final corner and is going to set sight on finishing his first lap in qualifying and the Mercedes once again. He comes to the line for a 30.5. That is the time for everybody to beat.
Quick update, that car was Fire King, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I was trying to find Fire King's name. Yeah. Apologies. Ardle goes second on the board in the Aston Martin. So, maybe not the best of times to start the session, as you could see from drivers, because I'm sure we'll crack into the 29s. If we look back to last season, because that will definitely be a big talking point when it comes to times, because I doubt there's any rain. I completely don't think there will be. Let's see. Did Aaron get an invite back? Yes, he did. Yeah, he joined. They say rain. Doubt that's true. And yeah, there's no one saying anything else about rain. Yeah, there's no other comment about rain. Usually they would be, so watch the rest of Fire King's lap over on about the topic of rain. Speaking of rain so far this season, I think we've been lucky not to have too many rain races. I think toward the end of the season we have Spain, we have France, we have Zandvoort and Abu Dhabi. I think every track will end up getting maybe some rain at some point or have a chance of rain, except for Abu Dhabi. But the next 3 events are going to be one you're going to watch out for when it comes to rain. It'll be reminded in the race director notes to grab a wet setup just in case. Carlos set a lap, Matty set a lap, Rundle set a lap. They're all within 5/10 of one another. There's a Ferrari coming to the line. That's Aaron Ocon, 5th place. A lot of drivers electing to go to the medium so far in Q1. However, Fire King crosses the line in his 3rd place. So Fire King feeling very competitive now being in the Alpine. He said while practicing, because he had 2 cars he could practice with, either Mercedes or Alpine, he said, I don't want to be put in this Mercedes. And we organized a compromise to where he was put in the Alpine and Hissy was put in the Mercedes. Both are allowed to reserve for those cars. And Fire King said, I feel much more comfortable in this Alpine. And so far, even though he's gone off right there, he is 3rd place on the board and currently safe from being out of Q1.
So they're all looking pretty close to each other right now. So it could come down to the wire before he gets knocked out.
Absolutely. Will Cromack is another one who was out in qualifying last week. He did not make Q3 at all, but he took pole here last season and is one of 2 drivers to have more than 1 pole this season so far. 7-7 at the sector split for Will Cromack. Will Cromack, I must say, he scored a decent bit of points last week in Canada. This week, probably looking for more at one of his better tracks. This is Pad's home soil. And Will Cromack on his controller, doing as much as he can to get to the top of the board. It will be easily top of the board. We are now into the 29s. It is a 29.6 in his Ferrari.
Yeah, it's instantly about 1 second the fastest right now. But, like you said...
Also clocking in the time is Pluto, sorry?
Yeah. You reckon that a lot of those people are going to be catching up to that? So... It's not bad, but like you said, a lot of people will be catching up to that time, so we'll have to wait and see.
Exactly. There's still a long way to go in the session. 10 minutes remaining. Goggy serving his qualifying ban is going to have to come from the back of the grid. Last season in this race, he broke a point streak that I don't think he would have broke if he had ever broke it. In this race, he ended up scoring a points finish. in the race itself. The sprint, he had a little bit of trouble. He got quite a bit of penalty points in this race, but he didn't get demoted any positions at all because the thing for Gagi was he was so far in front of his teammate Lando or either behind his teammate to where he wasn't near any other car. I don't remember if he finished either ahead of Lando or behind Lando, but they were, you know, one position apart. And Gagi's gap to the next car was quite a bit. So even with the penalty he got in this race last season, he actually was able to end up okay from it. Sam gets a purple sector too. We'll see how accurate that is as he's about to end his lap. He slides though. But on the topic of his teammate Gagi, yeah, Gagi was thinking maybe third place is a good opportunity to get in the standings. Now it's looking like it's fifth place for Gagi. Gagi's having a good season, a career year in URS. However, his teammate needs a bounce back. His teammate is going to go fourth. So nice time by Sam Steed. With his teammate though, Blue Gagi, the thing about him is that point streak that was broken, it looked like after that race last season, he was able to set himself up towards the front of the grid. A pole in Singapore, that gave him confidence for sure. He bottled the race win, didn't even score any points. Later in the season, he kept contending for multiple points finishes. Gotten the points, I think, twice, maybe 3 times, but I might be incorrect on that. He ended up fighting more at the front of the field as the season went on, and now that we see this season happen, a season later, Gagi's fought way more at the front of the field, been in the lead more times, but he is still looking for that first podium. We'll see if he can do it from 20th on the grid. There are 3 places on this grid that drivers have never got podiums in URS, and I believe it's 20th? I think 13th is one of them, and I can check the other one right now. 20th is one of them. 13th and 14th. So there you go. Those are the 3 places drivers have never got a podium finish from on the grid in URS.
I find that so weird to go from a jump of 20th, haven't finished from the podium, and then all of a sudden 14th and 13th. Just the fact that like 19th, all that below 14th have, but then those. It's just a bit weird.
Top of the board for Polo God. That is a 29.5. Lando Norris is now coming to the line in his McLaren. What can he do? A 30.3. So he is just ahead of Sam Steed. It seems like, especially this weekend, a lot of the wheel drivers have been working together, whether it's setups, lines, anything else, just to find pace on the other pad drivers, because we have a 1, 2, 3, 4 for all the pad drivers, and now make it top 5 for all the pad drivers with Jet Bully MSU clocking in a time that is 3rd fastest.
This is it's looking like it's going to be quite dominant for pad then. Who's next to
Vlajovic is also on a lap. We'll go on board with him. Apologies. Thrasher also got in a time that's 8th. He felt he was going to be out in Q1. When he did these practices earlier this morning, he looked like he was good in race pace. His qualifying pace, though, didn't look so strong. His teammates now on a lap. Joseph goes P4. Make that top 6 for all the pad players, but purple sector for Vlajovic. LSJ Rundle, a big surprise right there is there's a spinner in the Ferrari. That is Aaron Ocon who's around. LSJ Rundle, that big surprise. They're up in P3. He might be into Q2 safely this time compared to Brazil. Vlajovic now heading on the run to turn 11. Let's see what he could do. He did not feel so great about running Bahrain heading into this weekend. However, a lot can change within a matter of 7 days. Let's see if that's the case. Canada, he was out in Q1. Right now, he's one of the only drivers not to have a time. Let's see what he can do at the middle sector. It's purple. And let's see if it stays that way in his Red Bull. Red Bull have not led a session since Britain earlier in the season. That's where Vlajovic led, and he led by a very big gap. Can he go back to the top of the board in his Red Bull? He needs something surely in order to get his confidence back up. 29.9. It is P6, but he surely is safe for now. That knocks Carlos into the bottom 5.
This is yeah, it's already looking pretty damn close in qualifying.
Surfy also goes 7th in the process of that. That also knocks Fire King now. Both Alpines out as we stand. Chungus on a lap in the on the mediums. I want to see what he could do because he was at risk in Belgium, to where he could not get out of the bottom 5 safely. He barely just did. And he was lucky enough that a couple drivers invalidated. Chungus is out still on the mediums.
Jesus.
He will have to go out again and on a different tire.
Yeah, I'm thinking everyone has to do a soft lap. Yep, I'm not going to switch into softs now. Jesus. This is really close.
Absolutely. The smooth operator down in 17th. That's Carlos Sainz. His Alpine. I think that we'll get a nickname for him. Either that or the Chili Man. Jab retires in the pit lane. Anything works. Anything works for Carlos Sainz, especially when you support a real-life driver that has some nicknames for himself. And that Alpine, though, let's see what he can do. Will Cromack also believes he's safe. Carlos Sainz in the middle sector, 5/10 up. Now, I gotta wonder, did he lose time in this last sector? Because if he is going 5/10 faster, he's gonna get himself in the top 10 right here. And that would be absolutely great for Carlos Sainz. Lajovic thinking he is safe. There's 4 of the top 6 believing they are safe for Q2 and calling it quits. Carlos Sainz comes to the line. That is 9th fastest for him. That knocks Aaron Ocon to the bottom 5.
I mean, this is insanely close. Oh my God. I don't even know who's gonna go out at this point. Because if everyone finds time.
I like this new reprofiled field because you know what? It feels like everybody has more of a chance now. Everybody has more of a chance, and it's not smooth sailing to get into Q2 either. That's what I'm liking right now. It was quite obvious who would be out or who would be around the area of who'd be out. Now it's more of an unknown. You have Sam in that area, Lando in that area might have to go out again. CJ may have to go out again, but he can maybe take a risk. Aaron Ocon surely going to improve. He's not safe on that first run. Yeah, he was on mediums, but you know, the fact he's down there and he was ahead of Chungus as well, that was a concern for Chungus. Chungus, your championship leader, 26 points clear. Surely he's got to be questioning right now his choice about going on the mediums the first run. We'll have to see what happens through the next run for Chungus as he's going to be back on track soon. Joseph also thinks he's safe. Ellis Girendo, the only one in the top 6, still not retiring from the session. Aaron Ocon now is on an outlap, and he is going to be starting one soon here. I'm just going to move this ticket here. There we go. So now, Aaron Ocon on board with him. Let's go on board with his lap. On the soft tires now, trying to get through into the next round of qualifying. He's done okay this season. He's been a little inconsistent when it comes to qualifying. His races, though, not so great. He got 2 points to his total so far. That all came from last week after post-race penalties. For Aaron Ocon, though, he's going to have to try something to get out of the bottom 5. Pluto retires. He's 8th in this qualifying session. He's going to believe he's safe. Now, Aaron Ocon at the sector split, 3/10 up. That's purple. So Aaron Ocon having some good pace in this Ferrari. Going to go almost off on the curb there. Now in the run to turn 8. Clipping toward the inside, but not the inside curb. You're going to lose time if you clip that inside curb now. Trying to get the best exit possible is Aaron. Turn 9 and 10. A big issue for a lot of drivers. Clips that curb just a little bit to try to find some sort of time for turn 10. Now out of turn 10, the DRS is deployed. And now on the run to turn 11, where this is a tricky part for traction, whether you're on pad or wheel. Now, Aaron, as he comes to the sector split in just about the next 10 seconds, we're going to find out whether he's up or down or whether he's purple still. Aaron Ocon, purple, 4/10 up on his time. So, right now, this would set him near the top 10. And if he can find some time in this final sector, he could even be top 5. Aaron Ocon, not out in Q1 last week, but the week before he was. Couple of Q3 appearances to start the season, better than last season when it comes to his percentage on Q3 appearances. How about Q2, though, so far? 3rd fastest. He is going to get into Q2 easily.
Yeah.
Also going up the board is Sam Steed, 8th fastest. He knocks Artle into the bottom 5 while we go on board with Chungus. It is now Chungus'
turn. Out.
What?
I generally have no clue who's going to go out. This is so close.
Carlos Sainz retires from the session. He's 11th place on the board. He believes he's safe. That could be a risk, though, with what we've seen so far. Hissy and all the other drivers in this bottom 5 are back out on track and on a lap. Chungus now at risk, your championship leader, while the other man in the championship behind him, Polo God, is second in the championship, but first on the leaderboard right now. Chungus 3/10 up on his time. So Chungus still looking to improve, still looking to complete this lap. If anything happens, he could be out. CJ clocks in a time that's second fastest. He knocks Pluto and Carlos down. So now Pluto and Carlos are the ones going to be facing risk at some point if more drivers continue to improve. Aaron Ocon, CJ surely safe. Same with Sam and Surfy. However, anyone outside that top 10 surely has to be worrying at this point. Chungus coming to turn 11 now as the checker flag is out. He is trying to find some time in this lap in order to get through and continuing to find time at the sector split. Yes, he is purple. 1.1 up on his time. All he has to do is keep this valid and not crash on his lap. Fire King sets on a time, 14th fastest. He improves. He's currently above the bottom 5. That knocks Hissy out. Next is the Ferrari to the line. That's Aaron Ocon. He is currently on an in lap. However, Chungus is on a lap though. The championship leader looking to get through and find the top of the leaderboard. He will find second place on the leaderboard. Matty Mumu 7/10 up right now. What can Matty Mumu do in that Aston Martin? Matty Mumu 8th place. He's closer than he has been. Ardle invalidated. Hissy coming to the line next. What can Hissy do in the the Mercedes? That knocked Fire King out. Now it knocks Lando out. So Lando's at risk. Sorry, he's out. Carlos is the one at risk. If Lando improves, this could be big. And if both drivers in the bottom 5 improve who are still in laps, that could knock Pluto out. Thrasher to the line. No, he is out, so Pluto will be safe. However, will Carlos be safe as Lando's up in purple? Carlos Sainz, in his debut, is trying to get through to Q2, but currently would be out if Lando completes his lap successfully. Slowest in qualifying is Ardle, then Thrasher, then Fire King. Now make it Carlos. Lando to the top 5. Lando's through, but Pluto is barely through by 3 thousandths. Look at that gap. To get through in qualifying from the top of the leaderboard, 5.5 and more tenths in that lap.
Jesus.
That's teammates right there, 1st to 15th, to get through. This qualifying session was close.
And to think at the start of the qualifying, Pluto was like one of the top ones, and he's just barely scraped by. That is insanely close.
Carlos is definitely regretting that decision now, retiring from the qualifying session. Chungus Goat lags out, so he's going to start Q2 in the back foot, but as for Carlos, he is definitely regretting that decision. Well, I will say, it has been a lot closer at the top of the field as we look at things. Chungus said he was going to be struggling, and not anywhere near the top. What a lie that was. He's second place in the leaderboards, while CJ is third. Polo God, fastest right now, 29.5 in this session to lead the way. And in fact, the fastest quality time in Q1 last season was a 29.7. Slowest in qualifying with a 30.1. Faster than last season's bottom 5. Carlos Sainz, then his teammate, Fire King. Both Alpines are out. Thrasher, also out in qualifying. He gets that Q3 streak to an end. Ardle, also on the Aston Martin. Aston Martin continuing their struggles. Blue Goggy, with the qualifying ban, was never going to get through. He is out as well. No surprise right there for him. However, in that bottom 4, definitely a couple surprises right there. For me, I have to say Thrasher. Maybe not necessarily too much of a surprise, but with how his momentum was the last 2 weeks, it is a surprise. However, for Carlos, I expected a lot more. My worry for him was when I placed him in this Alpine and Pluto agreed on it, I think the biggest issue with his placement for me was the worriness of him being too fast for it. And I said to myself, well, he's close to Riles' times when I looked at the time trial times. I looked at I also looked at the battles with Yonder, and I thought, he's not too far off Yonder, who's in the McLaren, and Riles was in the Alpine, so he'll probably be toward the front of the field. He'll make Q3 easily. Well, in his first start, it's not been so easy. He's going to have to recover in the race, and he said his race pace is better, so let's find out and see come the race, as we're on to Q2.
For some reason, the game won't let me try and re-invite Chungus, but now it is.
Let me try too.
Is he? I don't know.
I'll invite him just in case.
Won't
There you
let
go.
me
Oh,
try
wait,
and invite him
invite
for
sent.
a while. It's weird.
Couple cars going out on track right now as well. Got a ping in main chat. Let me see what that was. Oh, well, here we go. Fire King mentioned that he outqualified Thrasher in a slower car. These two, good friends, but a little bit of spice up with that.
Apparently, Chungus has somehow got an extra set of softs.
Alrighty then. That's a little weird. That is definitely a little weird.
How did he get that? He must have stole it from Blue Goggy's garage.
Probably, you know, with that quality banning is like, you know, we'll give them the set you use when you're going out to disqualify yourself. Even though you might have a little bit of gravel on it. Here you go. Here's some brand new tires.
If you just wipe him down, then I'm sure they'll be perfectly fine.
Well, speaking of Blue Goggy, we're going to watch his teammate go out on his first Q2 lap and potentially set the benchmark. Sam Steed. Well, I did say at the beginning of the season, new year, new Sam. However, the thing with Sam is, as of late, should I say it's been a bit of a disappointment? Maybe I can for now. He's out!
Oh god!
Oh my goodness!
Take a curse, man.
Oh,
Jesus Christ,
well,
man.
the same thing happened in season 2, and it's happened again.
I think you're gonna have to give him a formal apology, man.
Oh man.
You're gonna have to give him a full-ass
I must say,
paragraph.
it is fair to say it has been a disappointment as of recent, though. It really has for Sam. Because the last 2 races, and Alfa Romeo as a whole, because Alfa Romeo had this consecutive streak going of scoring points, being the only other team besides Williams and Haas to do so, and now with both drivers, they just haven't done so, so now both drivers will have to start on the back foot. That's not good. At all.
You're definitely gonna have to give him a formal apology, though.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You have to write a whole essay.
I'll give him one on Twitter.
That would be funny.
We'll go on board with Chungus. Even though Chungus is the last one to start a lap here out of everybody, we'll watch him. There will be a Mercedes crossing the line first. That'll be CJ. However, Chungus, your championship leader. Let's see what he could do in his Williams. You know, I must say, this season, if you look at the top of the leaderboard, it's been Ferrari, Williams, Haas, and Red Bull, the teams that have been on top in qualifying. No one else has got to that point, and I think we are getting to a point where that could potentially change. Aaron Ocon clocks in a time that is 6/10 faster than his teammate. Aaron Ocon has definitely found something, and that Ferrari, maybe it's the 2019 engine. However, Chungus on board with him. Polo got 3rd fastest, can't even beat Will Cromack's time, but Serpy clocks in the time 2nd fastest. Next is that McLaren. Rundle's up there too, so definitely a lot closer of a field than we anticipated. Also, Hissy, 8th place. Jab as well. Nobody's near Aaron Ocon's Q2 time so far. That's a 29.2, and if we want to compare it to previous seasons, 29.4 from last season in qualifying in Q2 was the fastest time. Aaron Ocon has to say to himself, I am safe. Can Chungus say the same, though? Coming across the line now, a 29.6 is not safe just yet. Wow.
Jeez.
Aaron Ocon, what has he found? What has he found?
Yeah, he's taken
He
something.
surely
Oh.
has to be safe. Although he's invalidated and gonna hit the wall here for just a
Very
second.
nearly hit the wall. He's on some performance-enhancing drugs, man.
I know. I'm a bit worried. I'm a bit worried that this is gonna flop once Q3 comes around. I'm a bit worried.
Can you imagine? He just sets like fucking absolutely insane time, and then in Q3 just can't do anything.
1% chance of rain, Logic says. But yeah, I think that has been the case for Aaron, you know. I don't think he's led a session. I do want to check to be 100% in just a moment, but yeah, I'll check in just a moment. I don't think he's led a session. Ferrari easily have. Whoa, there was a big pileup in the IndyCar race that was just shared in the main chat, and I hope if you haven't um seen it already, you do look at it. That is hopefully not what we get in our race, for sure. A little bit of term we could use called arc brakes, but
Oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. I was like, did you see that too?
Yeah, I've only,
Everybody
I
coming
just
into the
watched the
pits.
clip.
Yeah,
I hope they're all fine. I mean, Jesus.
they look okay, but I could be wrong. I don't want to assume.
Yeah.
However, should I assume that Lando's up? No, I shouldn't. He's down on his time. He's going out again. 13th fastest. So in this bottom five, Lojovic, Hissy, Lando, Maddie, Sam. Lojovic, that surprised. Lando's been through to Q3 quite a bit. It's definitely interesting. Pluto's near the elimination zone. This is getting intense. It has to be said. You know what? Even though Lando's on an in-lap, we actually do have time for an interview. I'm a little bit surprised that we do. How about GSR Thrasher? He asked for one, so why not? I don't see why not. I don't see why not with Thrasher. I've been a little bit relaxed on the interviews. I think it's taken up a bit of time. But seeing as you look at, I think, this session right now, it's not really taken up any sort of time on anybody's lap
Ooh.
now that we have. Oh, Orlando spin we have. Now
Yoda?
that practically everybody is in the pits. Thrasher, welcome along.
Hello.
Include my audio in your stream now. I'm gonna feel special. Here we go. So I'll ask you a question, then I'll have Burning Man ask you one. Your Q3 streak from the past 2 weeks comes to an end. Disappointment, a surprise. How do you look at things in Bahrain? This is where your last pole position came. So how do you hope to turn it around in the race?
Yeah, it's unlucky. I was actually up on my time, and the run before I invalidated early on. So I just backed it off and tried to save up URS, which is going to be a pain today. I just saved up. I thought I was good on 75%. And then I was 4.5 tenths up coming into the end of sector 2. And it just went down from there. I was losing the URS, and I was only not even a tenth when I crossed the line. So it's unlucky. But Bahrain, for me, is a track where quality doesn't matter. It's all about the race. So I will, do my normal, pull another strategy that shouldn't be pulled, and hopefully be there in the points at the end of it.
Good luck, Burning Man. Any questions?
Right, so obviously it was an insanely close quali. Were you expecting it to be this close, or did you think it was going to be a bit more spread out?
I kind of expected it through the midfield to be close, just because of some of the cars suits better than others, obviously, in any track, but especially in this track. And then you got pad versus wheel. So I think, it was going to be a close session. Not this close. This is actually pretty close. But yeah, I kind of knew it was going to be a close session based off of practice times that I heard everyone was running. Other than that, there was someone was running 28.7s in quality, but
Jesus.
yeah, but that was Goggy, so he was quality.
Ah. Yeah, well, good luck with the race. Hope you do get it.
Alright, good luck. Enjoy. I'm having a little bit of audio issues again, Burning Man. I'm trying to fix it because he was really quiet for me, and when I try to turn him up, it would not turn up. Will Chromac goes fastest, 6,000 that is. So while I fix the audio issues, please take over.
I will try. Who is the next on lap? Let me find out. Is it Pluto? I think it is Pluto. He's coming around into the final sector now, into the final turn to try it. Oh wait, no, he's not. Is he? I don't know. The time's glitch sometimes. What do you want to do? What was it? Oh fucking hell! Alright. Chungus, right? No, Chungus. Who's next on that? Oh no, this is scuffed.
Alright, I fixed it.
I
We're good.
couldn't figure out who's on the
We're
next lap, man. That was scuffed.
Well, I'll go on board, Pluto. I'll help your case. It's okay. 4 minutes remain in this qualifying session. Chat, I don't see many of you talking in chat. Let's get some poll predictions. Maybe some predictions on if Jamie knows if Pluto's on a lap or not. Either way, Pluto is actually improving, by the way, as we speak of him. 2/10 up in his time. I will say, the gap to get into Q3, you probably want to be around the Chungus area with how things stand. Will Chromax 6,000 on his teammate, that's quite close. So maybe we're looking at a close Q3 or a Q3 that is similar to last week where one driver gets a very much better time than the rest of the field and, you know, is a very standout time for pole position. However, we got to get to Q3 first with Pluto 4/10 up on his time. He would currently be 7th place if things stand right now. Aaron Ocon retired thinking he is safe. That's easily agreeable. Will Chromac, the same could be said for him now. Well, Pluto to the final corner. Now exiting the final 2 corners, because that's technically 2. Pluto on the front straight. 29.2 is the fastest time to beat. He's got a 29.7. He's just ahead of his teammate. So he is currently into the next round of qualifying. Lojovic also on a lap as well. We'll go on board with him. The bottom 5 has 3 drivers still left to go out. Joseph currently 10th ahead of the elimination zone. 9/10 separate Lojovic and his time with improvement. Chungus, excuse me, goes 3rd fastest right there. He is in to the next round of qualifying with that time. Lojovic is next, though. Can Lojovic go fastest? Lojovic does go fastest in the Red Bull. Red Bull back on top. We just spoke to one Red Bull. Now the next Red Bull goes fastest. The Polo God go faster? Polo God is next. Polo God goes 4th. So very close between 2nd to 4th. That knocks Pluto to 9th. Pluto could be out if you think about it, because if we have improvements like we did in Q1 at the end, Pluto is not safe by any means.
Definitely not.
That now puts Joseph to the bottom 5. He is separated with CJ by 24 thousandths. I'm trying to look who the next driver is across the line. CJ's going to complete a lap before some of these guys get to their next lap. So 30 thousandths up in the first sector from CJ. He's going to need more if he wants to get into Q2 or Q3, excuse me. But as we head to the middle sector, it's the sector split. It's 3/10. So he could actually be knocking Pluto out right here. It depends all on this final sector. He needs to find some time. Surfy retiring, thinking he's safe. He's back in Q3, Surfy is. Looking for a different pole position besides a Ferrari, Williams, or Haas. Now, CJ coming across the line as we have the final moments of qualifying remaining. CJ does go faster than Pluto. Pluto's out. If anyone improves on their lap, as there are 3 drivers who are starting laps and soon to be 4. This could get interesting. Joseph, now on a lap in 11th place in his AlphaTauri. We have an AlphaTauri currently in with Surfy. However, it's going to matter whether Joseph can put both AlphaTauris in. Last week, both AlphaTauris were out in Q1. Now they're trying to get through to Q3. How much a week difference does to a driver and a team. There's a McLaren also coming to the line. That's either LSJ Rundle or Lando on a lap. Joseph's improving by 37 thousandths. You need more time than that to knock Pluto out. Rundle, Orlando it was, coming across the line. Actually, they get to start a lap because the checkered flag is not out just yet. Then there's a McLaren coming across the line, I believe, to complete a lap. However, we still see yellow flags. That's at the pit straight. However, checkered flag is out. Lojovic fastest, Chungus 5th. They're all safe. Surfy might be. Next is the McLaren. That is LSJ Rundle, I believe. He goes fastest! 29 flat! LSJ Rundle in his first full-time start is going to be amazing. He's doing amazing things so far. Joseph, a 10th up on his time. And still improving, potentially. That gap to get in is currently 7/10 to the top of the board. Joseph will be the first one to potentially change that.
Pluto's got to be begging for a miracle right now not to go out. He's out.
Joseph is in!
Oof.
Wow, Pluto out in qualifying again. Not what he needed if he wanted to get third place in the championship over Jab this race. Matty Memo clocks in a time. He's currently out. Hissy trying to get in. Hissy is in. Hissy knocks Pluto out. Jab is safe now with that. Now it's up to Lando to knock Hissy out. So Joseph gets knocked out. Wow. Could it be both McLarens into Q3 for the first time since preseason? That was 9 weeks ago. Lando Norris is coming across the line and he's out. Aw, such high hopes for McLaren, but the other McLaren, the second McLaren, is in to the next round of qualifying, and they have just broken the longest streak in the league's history between leading qualifying sessions. They have not led a single session since round number 12 of season 1 back in Portugal 29 races ago.
That was so damn close, man.
Wow. Ellis J. Rundle leads qualifying. This guy, like I said, is going to do amazing things in that McLaren. Lando probably already feeling happy with that improvement. Constructor-wise, I'm speaking. He leads over Lajovic, Will, Aaron, Polo. That's your top 5. Some interesting teams in the Q3. However, you don't get both Haas's, but you do get both Williams just barely right there with some of them. The slowest 5 drivers in qualifying include Joseph, Pluto, Lando, and Matty. There are definitely a couple surprises there as well. Sam, by the way, crashed out, couldn't clock in a time. Joseph surely has to be considered somewhat of a surprise. A Haas is out in qualifying again. That is a bit surprising in itself. Matty out. Maybe not too much of a surprise with Matty, but he was quite competitive in Q1. So maybe we expected him to be in Q3 if at a long shot. And Sam was out as well. He crashed out. And Lando Norris also out, who's made Q3 10 total times. He will not make it an 11th one. He's still waiting for that 11th.
This has been a damn close quality so far. Can't wait to see.
I think we have one of the most competitive Q3s in a long while.
Oh, yeah.
I really do.
Can't wait to see how much of a battle it is to get pole.
See, that was a 29.0 with Rundle. That's faster than last season's pole time. Last season's pole time was a 29.037. All right. Well, let's go over the drivers who are in Q3 and a little bit of stats regarding them. Will Cromack was on pole in this race last season. He has 6 poles. All of them have been front row starts. And he missed Q3 last week. He's back this week. Lajovic, he is into Q3 once again as well. His best start's 3rd. He missed out in Q2 last week, but every Q3 Lajovic has scored points in the race. And hey, you talk about last season with drivers. Well, he did not race here last season, so this is the first Bahrain race Lajovic has done. Unless he did one in season 2. I think I might be wrong on that. Because it was either him or his brother who raced in season 2 Bahrain. Checking to be 100% with Lajovic.
I know your stats.
I'm gonna say he did. I'm gonna say he did. I'm gonna say he did. I want to be 100% with that. I think he did. Yes, he did. He DNF'd. It was the first card at DNF. So there you go. That is why I messed that up. Surfy. His best start's 3rd, just like Lajovic, and he has made Q3 on 3 occasions. Now make it 4. He's never done a Bahrain race either. All right, let's continue with this. Jab. 21 consecutive Q3 appearances. That's your record. Qualified 2nd last season, and he's made Q3 in every race this season so far. Polo God also as well has been very good at Bahrain. For Polo, 4 front row starts. He qualified 12th last season. Hissy also in Q3 once again. That's his 2nd Q3 appearance this season. 3rd Q3 appearance all time. His best ever start was last week, and that was 2nd place. He made Q3 in Bahrain in season 1. That was his first appearance. CJ also here. This is his first Q3 since Brazil, where he took his only pole. Chungus Goat, not on track. He's the only one not on track. But for Chungus, he has 9 front row starts. That's the most all time. He's never raced a Bahrain race. Whereas Rundle invalidated his outlap. But for Rundle, his best start's 14th. It'll be better than that. He's now made Q3, and it's his first full-time race replacing Rowdy as Aaron, who's on a lap. Aaron has got through to Q3. He's had 5 previous front row starts, started top 5 in the season 2 race, but qualified 15th last season. He's now invalidated.
I'm surprised to see that. I mean, I guess maybe they're trying to save stuff. Surprised, anyway, I'm surprised to see Rondell and Hissy both going out first on the mediums.
Yes. However, Hissy is first through the middle, or sorry, first sector. CJ is next. We're gonna go on board with CJ because his is gonna be the first representative lap time, considering Aaron's invalidated and Hissy is on the mediums. So CJ has got to be quite happy with us getting through to Q3. Definitely improvement. Definitely improvement. I have to say, with how CJ has done in this Mercedes, it's either been barely out in Q2, barely out in Q1, and decent amount of points to his name. Not a lot, but decent amount with this Mercedes. Moving a Ferrari to Mercedes, he had said this car had not felt well. However, today it's surely a change so far with an 8-0 in the middle sector. So, the continuous improvement from CJ is great. However, he somehow is going to keep it valid right there on his qualifying lap. And he'll be the first one to properly cross the line and be representative. Aaron crosses the line to start another lap, I believe, but Hissy is going to go top of the board, a 30.4. Time to beat until CJ comes across the line. It's a 30.2. Next is that McLaren of LSJ Rundle on the mediums. What can he do compared to Hissy? LSJ Rundle's boxing. Lujvik now is going to go provisional pole as we stand 29.9. Next is the Williams. That is Chungus. We're going to go on board with your championship leader because the top two, actually you want to go even better, top three in the championship are all into Q3 and all going to have a chance for pole. That is amazing to see. Jab has not had a pole this season. Polo God has. Chungus has had 2. These guys all very competitive in the championship and looking for better. There's a Haas coming across the line. That's Polo God to pole. 29.2. After a bad situation last week, he's made it a better one this week. Next is Jab. That's second place. He's on the front row. Now, Chungus is coming through your second sector on the racetrack. He's got a Red Bull in front of him. Now Surfy goes front row. Surfy with his best start so far. Will Cromack, 36,000s to the top of the board. Excuse me, second. He's second on the board, but 36,000s to the top of the board. Excuse me. Aaron Ocon, I believe, is still trying for another one here. On his lap, he's not invalidated it. I doubt he'll go into the pits this time. However, Chungus is on a lap. Aaron goes to provisional pole!
It's just trading spot.
Now,
stop.
Can Chungus do the same? Polo is in a Ferrari sandwich, and it's both O'Callahan's one too. That has never happened in URS, in a qualifying session for pole. However, Chungus could be the one to break that, though. At the top of the board, he comes across the line. It's a 29.9. He's behind his teammate. He's 6th place. Polo second to Chungus 6th. Aaron Ocon is currently on pole for the first time as he spins since Imola. Round number 10 of last season. You have to go all the way back. Almost 15 races. It's a long, long time to not be on pole.
Hey, it gets better late than never.
That Ferrari team, yeah, exactly. That Ferrari team is looking hella strong. And it has to be said, because with Ferrari, they are creeping right behind Alfa Romeo in the championship with where they stand. Surely for Ferrari, you know, with their qualifying sessions, they say, oh, well, we could be up there. We could have a chance. Well, they've had a chance. They've started up front quite a bit. Never got the job done. Aaron Ocon scored his first points last week. Surely has some confidence in the car this week at Bahrain, one of his better tracks. The track where he scored a podium for Mercedes for the first time. Raced for Ferrari here in Season 2. Got into Q3. And now in Season 3. Season later, he didn't even make Q3 at all in this race. Now, currently on pole position. That is how much can change between a season. But as I speak about constructor standings, I want to quickly go over the fact that Ferrari are 5th place, 2 points behind McLaren. You take the pole point, that'd be 1 if they were to get it. That is how much can change. I mean, Alfa Romeo are only 20 points out of McLaren. If Ferrari end up having a really good day and Alfa Romeo do not have a good day, and the same could be said with McLaren, maybe they score with one driver, but Ferrari score both, and Ferrari score really well with both, we could be in for Ferrari taking 3rd in the championship. And that'd be very interesting to see, especially with how Aaron and Will's seasons have been.
It's fun to see it be this close.
Yeah.
The fact that it can change just like that, all it takes is one person having one bad race, and then it's just all changed all over the place. It's amazing.
Novak and Lajovic, both in Bahrain in Season 2, he said. I believe there was Saudi Arabia they both competed in. You might be right about Season 2 with Saudi, but I think in Bahrain it was just Lajovic in the race. Lajovic was in the Mercedes. I'm trying to think. Wingo tried getting in the Red Bull, but when he entered in, he was supposed to be in the Aston. The game put him in the Red Bull, so I could see your point right there. 19 viewers? Hey, send this to some people you're friends with or rooting on. I know there's a couple people in the chat who are rooting on some drivers or drivers themselves watching the stream and tuning in to see what things are looking like right now. Good to have this amount of viewership back again. Last week was not so great with it, but this week it's definitely been better for sure. I must say as well, adding on to it, that usually with Skippy, you in the chat, Lodgevic, everyone else who is in the chat weekly, it's always great to see you guys because you guys always interact with anybody and love watching these races. These races, for me, I must say, when I watch them, I love any sort of racing, don't get me wrong, but I think the thing that makes it so special for me is that everyone has a chance. And we speak about weekly how close this field is. This field is getting really close by the minute. And I think, in all honesty, that the closer this field gets, the better it is for Season 5, because I think we're really seeing a preview. We saw previews toward the end of Season 1 for Season 2, when in Season 2 we had a 4-way fight for the title. I want to say it was during the 7-round season, 4-way fight toward the end. Maybe a 5th driver could have been involved with Jab, but didn't really have that. A good amount of constructors involved in the fight. And we saw races in qualifying sessions where everything was so close. It was just like 4/10 to get in. Even 3/10 at some points. Q1 to get in. Oh, 4/10 at France, 4/10 at Britain. It was so close to get in every single time. That's what I love seeing, And some people think, with the racing and everything, how because everything's so close, it doesn't make passing that easy. And that's okay sometimes. We have some good races from it, like France back in Season 2 and even Britain in Season 1, or Season 2, excuse me. But Season 1, to what I was referring to, saw a preview for Season 2 at races like Imola, Britain. Britain, we had a 3-way fight for the win. We had a good fight for the podium as well. In Imola, we had Alpine's fighting at the front. Alpine hadn't had a single podium in the league at the time. They ended up getting a podium later. And then around 12 at Portimao, we had a 4/10 gap at the front for qualifying. I doubt we'll see the same for today, but we are shaping up for a very close pole position here. Get your pole predictions in now, because CJ has just started a lap. He is the first one to go out and try this quest for pole position as 70 seconds remain in this qualifying session. Yellow flags, that's people who are starting laps. However, Aaron Ocon with that 1/10 gap is going to try to hold on to it. CJ, 8th place right now, trying to improve this lap. He's going to have to find 4/10 in order to do so, in order to gain some sort of places on the grid. But both Mercedes into Q3 as well. An accomplishment for them. An accomplishment to get a purple sector there as CJ. That's a 10th up. But CJ coming through turn 9 and 10. Now in his lap as 30 seconds remain. This is crunch time. It has to be said. 5/10 to 4th, but that top 3 is separated by almost a 10th and a half.
Oh, who's that? Oh, it's Jab. Jab's up.
There you go. 3rd place man in the championship, who I predicted to get pole, is definitely not going to today. CJ up at 8/10 on this lap. CJ is finding time in his Mercedes for the first time in a while. He's finally gripped with this car and got used to it to where he could potentially be starting on the 2nd row. CJ is going to be next to cross the line and going to be first to cross the line. Deploys DRS, coming across the line. CJ goes front row! That is amazing! And his Mercedes to do. They have been horrible so far this season. Not many points to the board. They get the job done right now. Aaron Ocon is down in his time. Can he find time in the final sector to go pole? He can go faster! He's gonna go in the 28s! Unbelievable! LSJ Rundle's next. He topped Q2. Can he top Q3? No! Polo God is next. Polo God goes pole! Will Cromack is next. Will Cromack goes front row! 53 thousandths! That is just like last season, to where it's close at the front of the field. We still have more
my
drivers
God.
crossing the line, though. Chungus is up by 0.6. Can he potentially sneak his way into the top 4? Yes, he can. Next is the AlphaTauri of Surfy. Down in his time. Improves his time, but no places. Lajovic, 0.7 up. Can he find time in the last sector to go pole? He goes wide. That could be it. That could be it to decide it, though. He is backed off, and that is it. Polo God, in his final
my
Bahrain
God.
Grand Prix, is going to be pole position with Will Kromek and his cousin on the second row.
Really got the luck of the Irish right then.
That is exactly what Polo God needed for his championship's sake. Look at that
Oh
gap.
my God. I mean, I was going to make my prediction of Aaron Ocon getting pole, but I mean, look how close that is.
I know.
That is such a good quality.
I love it. Well, going through your running order, Polo, Will, Aaron, Chungus, CJ, the top 5 Chungus championship leader, starting in P4 right there. Surfy, Jab, Lajovic, Rundle, Hissy round out the top 10. Rundle improves on his best starting spot. Surfy potentially could have, Lajovic potentially could have. Aaron Ocon, top 3, his best qualifying of the season. Will Kromek, his first front row, that's not a pole position. Wow. I am amazed. I am definitely amazed. And there is 2.5 minutes till drivers are allowed to ready up.
That was a damn good quality. I haven't really watched many qualies because whenever I'm not available on Sundays, I'm not able to watch the races, stuff like that. So I haven't seen
Yeah,
a lot
that's
of
fair.
qualies. But it's probably one of.
Oh, somebody's readied up before they should have. That's not good. That was at 1:13 in the dot. That is not good.
Yeah.
Who's done it?
I guess we'll find out. As I was saying, that was probably one of the best qualities, if not the best quality I've seen personally. Of how insanely close it was on every single. Oh, it's Fire
That
King.
was. It was Fire King who readied up, so that will be a penalty toward him.
Oh.
That is not good and not what he needed.
Apparently, he
Not
dropped
what
the
he
remote
needed.
on his leg.
Had a lot of that this season, I must say. We've had a lot of occurrences of that. I can't lie, we actually have. Believe it or not, we actually have.
I won't say Chungus's response to Fire King. Oh god, that's fine.
That was what, 2 minutes early? We'll see if that's a 15 or 20. I believe it's either one. It was like right on 1:13, so that
Yeah,
could
1:13.
either be one. I'll need to look at the rule because I need to see how long that was. But drivers don't get much time to get in their strategy whatsoever. So there you go. Top 12. Good.
With the update, you did say it was quarter past, and he did it at 13. He was 2 minutes.
Yeah. The only person in the top 12 starting on the mediums is Aaron Ocon. Besides that, Lando, Carlos, and Fire King are all starting on the mediums. The rest of the field on hards. Easy, hard, medium, potentially a hard soft. Last season, Lando started on the softs. So, it's interesting to see if anybody will choose to go to the softs at that point. If you did not hear last week, I'm going to go through the championship standings instead of the favorites. However, before we go through any of the standings, I want to talk about the top 5 quickly and just say both Ferraris up there, both championship contenders, and CJ who needs something good to happen. This is going to be a good race. Speaking of that, let's speak about how that is. 25 points now, that championship lead. It's shrinking down. If Polo God wins this race and Chungus gets no points, the championship lead is tied once more into Spain. And if we are going off ties at this rate, it's going to go to podiums. Well, unless Polo God wins this race, because Polo God, would get the tiebreaker based off wins right now. As things stand over Chungus, that gap is 25 points now. Jab behind, Pluto behind. Jab starts ahead of Pluto, and then that top 5 area with Goggy, Lando, Joseph, Will, and Lojovic are all separated by 18 points. Anything can happen with them, and with CJ starting this well, Will Cromack starting this well, a lot can change in the championship matter if they all have a good result. The constructors as well, 23 points between them. Now make it 22 with Polo God's pole. Again, things can shrink. The midfield battle, really with Alfa Romeo, McLaren, Ferrari, for those constructors, even the battle for last, Aston Martin, Mercedes, and Red Bull, it will be interesting to see where everyone ends up. Here we go. Now we are just waiting on the 5 red lights for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Just waiting to rev it up. Here we go. And they're off. It's time for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Here we go. Will Cromack off the line well, and he's ahead of Polo God, but Aaron Ocon makes it 3-1 already. Unbelievable. On the mediums, he gets the move done. And we don't have a good angle, but Polo God is battling side by side with Will Cromack, and Jab has got spun. Sorry, Chungus has got spun in turn 1. Not good for the championship leader. He's down and outside the points. Ardle's off as well. There was a 2-car collision to start this race, but now at the front of the field, Jab now battling Surfy for the top 5 spot as CJ's been down outside the top 5 now, with Pluto battling as well. They're going to be side by side, the 2 Mercs as well, but Pluto gets ahead. And Aaron Ocon, what a start. 3 wide. We could have seen that in real life, but we didn't. Blue Goggy, 20th to 10th already. He is gaining the most amount of places he can as the 2 Mercs go side by side. Rundle and Carlos as well. Side by side. Now the 2 teammates battling, duking it out. Oh, a little bit of a stack up into turn 10. Wide goes Matty Mamu. But already out to a second lead is Aaron Ocon. Matty Mamu re-enters right behind Joseph. Oh no, we have a crash. That's the big one. Goggy's out. Hissy's out. Carlos is out. That's unbelievable. Oh my goodness.
No.
What has happened? What has happened?
I was watching from Carlos's point of view. He was sandwiched between Goggy and Hissy, and it looked very much like the Russell Joe crash.
Oh my goodness.
Russell got squeezed into Joe.
Oh.
That is...
Wow.
Oof. I got a clip, so I'll have to rewatch, but it looked a lot like Russell.
The safety car is out.
Ah, that must be so annoying for Goggy.
See. Not what I wanted to see, I know. I did not want to see it for any of them, honestly. Wow.
It's got to be
That
so
is unfortunate.
He was on a flyer.
That is unfortunate.
As well. Jesus.
Some of them are saying there's desync. That's Chungus. Sam Steed also has some front wing damage, I think, unless he's pitting for new tires. No, he's on the mediums. I don't know if he repaired any front wing, but Lando went to the pits. Ardo went to the pits. Carlos said he got sandwiched. That's him done. Goggy's done. Oh, it's the big crash that everyone's fearing on that first lap. That could happen, and it happened. Thrasher's off as well.
Yeah, Carlos the sandwich. There's nothing to do there. Don't like it, man.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that one. 3 cars out in 1 wreck. What is happening? You know, the first lap, it's annoying. It's annoying that it's always the case in the first lap that, you know, something happens like this. We can't have a clean first lap. It almost felt like Formula NASCAR from yesterday. I was doing it with Lando and a couple of them. Goggy was one of them. It's like we only got one clean going of no one wrecking. You know, we did it at France, and I feel like it's the same way here. I know it's not the same comparison, but it feels like URS where it's only like one time where no one crashes on the first lap out of 12 attempts. It's mind-boggling that it's always the case, and I don't know why. I hope there's no desync, but safety car out. Aaron Ocon leading. Lando Norris on the hards. He went to the hards from the mediums. Sam and Ardle also on the mediums. Just more frustration to them as well. Goggy, I must say too, I feel most gutted for him. I feel gutted for Signs. I feel gutted for Hissy. Carlos, because he had a lot more to show in his first start. Hissy, because he was up there, didn't have a good start, got back there. But Goggy, because he gained 10 places. If he were to get by both Mercs right there, he would have potentially been to the top 5 by the first stint if he kept that pace up.
Yeah, he had an amazing start. That is so unfortunate for Goggy.
Wow. Well, that is a bummer. That is the safety car out, lap 3 in this race. I couldn't even find the words to put that together. I didn't know what to say, you know, because you don't usually see a three-car crash in a straight like that. Goggy got involved in one last season in a sprint race, but it didn't take all 3 cars out of the race, I could tell you that. So, there you have it. Let's see who's gained places now, since we didn't get to see that before. We're on lap 3, as mentioned. But 2 for Aaron, 3 for Jab, 2 for Lodgevic, 5 for Pluto, 3 for Maddie, 5 for Fire King. Not too bad from him in the Alpine. 4 from Thrasher, 3 from Ardle. Sam, same places. Chungus losing places with the collision. Polo God losing places from the pole. Not what anyone wanted to see, I could tell you that right now. And the safety car will be in this lap. So there you have it. 1 lap of racing done, and 1 lap of racing where there were 3 cars on the wall. But now we get to get things back underway in the safety car restart, where everyone will have to be more careful. Just like in Canada, though, the 2 Ferraris will lead the way on this restart. Let's see what they can do. Let's see what they can do. Aaron Ocon is the control car, and he decides when he wants to go. However, he has to do it in a safe manner. Here we go. I think we're back going. The safety car is in the pits. Aaron Ocon is away. The leader, once again, back out front, controlling the pace, and now here comes Jab for 3rd place in this race on Polo God, trying to take points off of his teammate. Because remember, Chungus being outside the points, Polo God would be at 15 points, 10 points behind Chungus. You can make it 7 if Polo God gets overtaken by Jab, and he could potentially be overtaken by Surfy here. 3 wide. On the run down to turn 4. Polo God around the outside, but Surfy's in the middle. And Surfy gets both of them. But Jab's still contending on this inside line. Can't get through. We have Fire King and Joseph now for 10th place in this race. Side by side. In the S's. Unbelievable wheel-to-wheel action. They still keep it side by side. Fire King back down the inside. And now, Fire King battling this one out to the very end. And gonna keep it around the outside here. In a slower car than what he's meant to be reserving in. He's doing quite well so far. Oh, there's contact. That is between Fire King and Maddie right there. But Fire King gets ahead of Maddie still. Not ahead of Joseph.
Clean little start from Surfy there. Little safety car.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. He needs a podium badly. Surely you can't say that this could be the race. He just wants that one podium that he's so desperately looking for. Chungus nearly gets in the back of Maddie. Keeps it off of him though. He's got Ardle, Thrasher, Sam, and the rest of the drivers at the back of the pack following suit in his run to try to get points. Sam Steed, I think he got in a collision on lap 1. His lap 1 misery just never comes to an end. Trying to make sure you're still there. Hello?
Yeah. So it's just...
I'm having issues with my computer with connecting, but either way, Sam and Thrasher now going to go side by side at turn 1. Sam gets ahead. Thrasher has to back off, and he's keeping Lando for company now. Now we're connected back on the computer, so I can now see Twitch chat. Excuse me right there. But Lando trying to look for a move. Can't do so. Chungus goes wide. Now this opens the door for Sam Steed to go through. Side by side of the S's once again. Sam is ahead. Your championship leader is more trouble. It seems like every race that Polo God gets near Chungus, Polo God struggles. Then Chungus gets ahead. Chungus struggles. And the same theory repeats itself.
This is good little battling. It's not much battling going up at the front now. It's starting to get a bit spread out. Oh, maybe with the teammates.
Aston Martin. Now we saw a real-life collision. So, hopefully we don't see one again. One is a reserve, one is the full-time driver. Matty Mumu. Trying to navigate his way through the field. Didn't have the best of starts, but, you know, he definitely was a contender for a potential podium last week. This week, he's going to be a contender for points, surely. Fastest laps now. Will Cromack has got it. He is in second place behind his teammate. And Aaron Ocon leading home a Ferrari 1-2. I'm really shocked Aaron's got this pace down. So far, I know it's 2-3 laps under green flag, but race pace down so far. Aaron's cleared the field, and he's leading once again. He has said last week, what is the point? What is the point of me racing? You know, he was really frustrated. He said he'd been feeling aches in his body to where maybe that could be a reason for some of his bad performances. He said it might sound stupid, but he felt it was one of the reasons at least. The part of it. But right now he's leading. So at this point, there's no excuse for any bad performance for Aaron. And he's leading a Ferrari 1-2. There's only been one 1-2 in this league when it comes to the finishing order in a race. It is Sam Steed and Ryan Ocon, the two who got 1-2. And Ferrari were the only team to do it. So there you go.
Now the main issue is with, see, Will and Aaron being so close. Are they going to be battling, or are they going to try and not battle too much?
Right, because Surfy isn't continuing to improve on his lap time, and he's closing, and he's in DRS. Jab isn't. So what's going to happen here? I thought it to myself about this before the race earlier today, and I said, before Paulo retires, I want to see one more battle between him and his cousin, and I think we could see it today, depending on these circumstances. I think we can. Will Cromack, another fastest lap. That's taken over by Surfy. Will Cromack still challenging for this race lead. We saw two Ferraris at the front of the field in Season 2. We see it once again. However, they're all leading this time. Paulo God through jab once again. I think a position was swapped there. Sam Steed now and Matty Mumu. Sam Steed keeps up some great race pace. Now his next target is Ardle.
Also thought I might just quickly point out, Thrasher pitted. I think it was either just one lap ago, or that he pitted. Didn't change his front wing though, just change his tyres. He's hitting again.
Is he?
Yeah,
is this it for him?
I don't know.
We'll see.
He forgets
Don't see any signs of any retirement, but oh, we got a collision or a crash on the track. There's Fire King around. He ends up rejoining behind Lando, but that all good work he had is undone.
And yeah, Thrasher pitted to change his front wing, so I'm guessing he forgot to change it pit before.
Ah.
Well,
there we go. The front three, yeah, either forgot to change it or the game didn't change it for him. I know that's been an issue with people as of recent, but as the two Ferraris lead 1-2, we'd have people on the podium right now, if they were to finish this way, who have not got a podium this season. We're at round 8, by the way, so none of these three teams have got podiums with their drivers, and that is more trouble to Fire King's race. He may have some rear wing damage if we find that one out. He's got nope, he doesn't have front wing damage, excuse me. But I was thinking he maybe has rear wing damage because he spun up the S's, unless that's his tires. Paulo God, I believe, fastest lap. Ooh, Surfy's went wide at turn 1. Got DRS for turn 4. He's not going to be close enough for a move. Will, still not close enough for a move either.
Vikings coming into the pits.
Seems like every season except for Season 2, Aaron Ocon has led home a podium. And I don't want to speak too early about it, but he has just ended up being in prime position, but never got it in the races that he should have podiums. He's a driver with a lot of should, could, would, in URS, but Rundle gets by CJ for 8th place, that is.
If I can
Aaron Ocon is...
just change his tyres again.
Yeah, Aaron Ocon's a big driver with what-ifs. You know, I think there's many races, you go back to Season 1, even Season 3, where he was running at a podium spot, where he could have had a podium or should have. But half the time it's been to his own doing, or just simple bad luck that he gets involved in. And him running up front, again, not off his sector time by much there, he's showing that he still has it in him, he still can do it. And he'll definitely be the Irish favorite when Paulo God retires, because you have two Irish drivers in the grid. Dark Raptor, a reserve, he's the only other Irishman. He'll be the Irish favorite, I think, in the way things are. So, 4/10 now. The gap for the lead. Will Cromack with somewhat similar battery. Aaron Ocon using some on that straight, but pulling away from Will right now.
This is a good little...
We have any moves behind that? Joseph maybe on CJ around the outside, trying it. Can't get it done. You know, it definitely feels weird with Bahrain being later in the season, but I must say, for a championship that has been so close this season with Polo God and Chungus been changing so many times, I think I'm glad to have Bahrain toward the end of the season with how this race has gone so far. Maybe not the lap one, but things have calmed down since then. Nothing really major happening on the track. The gap between the lead is getting closer, though. A little mistake from Aaron caused Will to close up. And we're going to continue to see this between these Ferrari boys. These Ferrari boys are really prone to mistakes in the race, but have a lot of one-lap pace in them. If they can hold Surfy off and not allow Polo God to get in DRS as he's about to do, then I'm going to be impressed. I'm going to be very impressed with that being the case. Because as of right now, these Ferrari boys have just not put the races together, and like I said, this is what they need over McLaren and Alfa Romeo, and Alfa Romeo is out of the race. McLaren has one driver outside the points, so does Alfa Romeo with their other driver, so a lot can still happen as we have maybe a change for the lead by DRS here. Aaron Ocon maybe backing off for the DRS though, because he does have more battery in his Ferrari. Will Cromack takes the lead back. These Ferraris cannot continue to battle as we see Aaron Ocon with the rear wing open. He's backing off right here. Now he's thinking of a move. Still doesn't do a move.
They're undoing themselves here because they're backing off. It's brought Surfy just that much closer. That's Thrasher.
Joseph and CJ side by side. That is Thrasher with yellow flags. Rundle's also going off the road just for a moment there. But the lead once again, 2/10 now. This has now allowed Polo God into DRS and Jab, who are a part of this top 5. And you just can't do that with Polo God and Jab. You know they're so experienced. They're drivers with so much wiggle room when it comes to this type of racing. They know what to do, especially from that position. They've been at the front of packs. They've been at the back of packs. They know what to do. They know when to calculate moves, and they know when to realize these mistakes are coming, and they see a mistake already with the Ferrari boys, and Surfy's right there to pounce if anything else happens. Joseph and Rundle now also at 8th place. Rundle has to yield for that position.
Feels like that switch between Will and Aaron, sort of like team orders, because Aaron was slowly but surely making more and more mistakes.
Rundle and CJ now. CJ, makes contact with Rundle, but CJ gets through. And now this opens up the door for Arnold for DRS with Sam Steed following. This is now for a points position. And yeah, you're exactly right, because if this was planned, then Aaron is now back 8/10 here. He realizes Will's the first driver here in the situation. He realizes if he backs off here with DRS still intact, that he can maybe hold Surfy off. He's using a lot of that battery, though. He's wasting a lot of that battery before the pit stops come. Because remember, Aaron will be pitting first between him and his teammate and the rest of the top 10. The thing with Aaron that I also fear is he got into a collision with Rice Cracker last season in this race. Wasn't his fault, but it was teammates. The Ferrari duo of Will and Aaron have not really been in too many collisions together or too many battles on track, but they were 1-2 at one point in Canada, and things flopped as Will finished 5th, I believe. Aaron Ocon finished 9th. So penalties have been the downfall to Ferrari. Race pace has been the downfall. But now with them two being out front, they have really not much or if anything to worry about. They really don't. They just have to hold off Surfy at this point. Because you have Polo God who's going to stay there. I know. But with the gap to DRS, you can't lose anymore if you're Aaron. You have to keep this gap consistent. And it is consistent right now. It's almost like the DRS is the one... It is almost like the DRS is the thing that is keeping Aaron within that gap that he needs to be. Because look at the time he gains right there. 2/10. He's going to lose some more right here.
I'm struggling right now.
Right through this section.
Yep,
here comes Surfy. That is crucial toward this race. Surfy with that AlphaTauri straight line speed. There's your difference. Will Cromack ain't letting up either as well. You could just see it. No throttle given. He is fully on that throttle and keeping that wheel as straight as possible. Will Cromack is to keep this lead and to keep that DRS gap. He knows what can happen if Aaron gets back within DRS. Surfy now at that AlphaTauri straight line speed has DRS. 5/10 back. His battery is so low though. Polo Gods as well in this train has the highest battery at 45%. If you want to talk about the ERS you gain back from the pit stops. That is something definitely worth mentioning at this track because pit stops are coming soon. The ERS you gain back is 20 to 24%.
I reckon.
Another thing as well to factor in with what was just said right there is the pit stop loss at this track. 21 to 23 seconds, potentially 23 and a half. So that is something we'll focus on whenever drivers do make their first pit stops.
Surfy and Polo right behind Aaron. Getting insanely close.
LSJ Rundle and CJ going at it once again. Excuse me, that is 9th place. GSR Thrashers picked up a penalty, but those are the final points positions right there. CJ with some great qualifying pace has just lost the race pace now, and that has put him back. He didn't have a great start either, to be fair, though, on CJ, but, you know, he's in this race still and still going. So there you go. Also at the front of the field, 7/10 now, so Aaron has got himself back in DRS. Maybe a mistake from Will, maybe Will letting up in order to allow Aaron back in DRS. He knows if Aaron gets too close to him, that something could change. Aaron wants a race win, but he also wants a 1-2 for the team, as you could tell earlier when he was backing off right behind Will, not going to go past. He refused to pass his teammate. Remember, these two are in a party. Usually they wouldn't be, but they are in a party. So definitely some team orders going through at some point in this race between the Ferrari boys.
Oh yeah, definitely.
However, what kind of team orders has been going through is the big question.
I feel like the switch could have been better executed though, like as they got into the DRS straight, because then obviously because Aaron was right behind with the DRS, it was pretty much he had the choice of either overtake or slow down. He slowed down and Surfy was right behind him. If he was any closer, I reckon Surfy would have got both of them.
Sam Steed gets ahead for 11th place. He's on his quest to get points positions. Look at that on the mediums for Sam. He's going hard, medium, medium, potentially. He's going to be pitting with the rest of these drivers. And by the way, let me just mention, Lando Norris is at the back of this pack on 11-lap hards. He could potentially go to the end in this race if everything works in his favor. That's his only hope for a race win at this point in this race, or even a podium or a good result. We saw Sam Steed try the undercut last week in Canada. He got up to 4th place when that happened. He was contending for a podium before that safety car came out. Ooh. Which caused the controversy with Brew Gorgon.
Sam Steed had a bit of a slide there, and Arnold was right on him now.
That's 11th place. Sam's just out of the DRS, and look at the gap with the lead once again. Surfy right on the back of him. For 2nd place, Aaron, that is. Aaron not going to pit just yet. You got to remember, those mediums are going to continue to go. A couple more laps. Potentially this lap could be the lap to pit. However, 5/10, that gap for the lead, and Jab losing out in 5th place. Just hoping for something to happen. Oh, yellow flag set as Fire King around. I don't know if that was a reset to track.
I didn't catch it.
Chungus and Maddie. Chungus and Sam and Ardle as well. All gonna go side by side. Double file. 2 lanes deep. Here we go. Ardle gets the move done. Rundle and CJ also battle, but here comes Chungus on the both of them. Sam Steed getting challenged once again. Chungus is now side by side and has to leave Sam out on the exit. Chungus gets 12th place, hoping for more. Still close, this 5-car battle for what looks to be a potential points position soon. If anything happens, Sam Steed got punted out of the way, I think, by Maddie Mumu. They're going to be side by side. Maddie concedes the place, but this battle is definitely a big battle for what could be points coming up soon. And in this train, we could see somebody taking the race lead once the pit stops do all work itself out, because I could see Lando staying out. Don't know if he'll do it, but Lando's been one accustomed to bold strategies around this circuit, so I would not doubt it one bit. We'll see if it happens. Either way, I do expect one of the Ferraris to be coming in anytime soon, whether it's this lap or next lap. Let's see if Aaron ducks to the pits. He does. So does Surfy. So does Polo. Does Aaron speed? He was close to speeding. Sorry, Polo was trying to get the slipstream. Excuse me. That is just Aaron pitting in the in the Ferrari on the mediums. So he's the only one. He's making his first pit stop. He's now on the hards, but will be the slower tire. So how does this undercut work compared to his teammate and the rest of the field? Polo God also desperate to get by Surfy. Here we go. 2nd place in this race. Polo God's gone through. That was much needed for the man 2nd place in this championship. Currently 2nd on the track. If you finish this race off right now, it's a matter of 18 points that he gains to Chungus. The championship back on heat. CJ and Rundle. Rundle's done the order. Rundle spun.
Oh, he's in the wall. He's lost his entire
Broken his
wing.
front wing completely. So that now puts Ardle up to a points position, and that is exactly what I was talking about for 10th place. That's exactly what was needed. These guys needed one man just to crash out of the points, and then they get up to the points positions as you see that battle with Chungus and everyone else onwards. That's exactly what could happen, and it did happen. Rundle, his race was going so well. Now they're relying on Lando.
Chungus is desperately trying to cut through the field here.
Rundle also has to concede the place to Aaron. Aaron doesn't get caught up in anything there. You're right about that. However, the fastest lap was set by Fire King. Now, we're going to see how fast this Ferrari pit crew could be with Will. Is he coming in this time? Surely it's soon with one of these top four.
He's not.
They stay out. They stay out. I'm going to quickly take a break myself, so please take over while you're at it as Paulo God sets the fastest lap.
It's obviously Polo just outside DRS of Will. He's getting close though. You get that. Surfy's still hanging in. Jab just behind. Oh, wait, battle. No, Zardo going into the pit. So that's Ardo and Sam into the pit to see if anyone changed their front wing, because I'm not sure if either of them had damage. No, they're both fine. That's both. Oh, that's Ardo and Sam onto the mediums. And Rundle's into the pits now, obviously, to change his front wing. See what tyres he goes on. Let's see, is there any battles going on? Lovovic is just behind Pluto, this could be a battle. Chung is still chasing down. Oh, CJ slides! Chungus is right behind him now. This could be a battle. Hey.
What have I missed?
Well, everyone's, like, a couple people start pitting. Logovic is right behind Pluto. And CJ's had a slide, bringing Chungus right on him now.
Yeah, and Matty Moon was close there, surely, too. Yeah, so pitting was Ardle, pitting was Sam, Rundle, all trying to get that undercut. Rundle had to pit with that damage. Yeah, he's not trying for any undercut, but he's trying to maybe get back to the points. Here we go. CJ just gets right in front of Chungus right there. That got close. And now, your leaders, the top four, are any of them in? Will is in. Polo stays out. Surfy in. Will Cromack speeding. That's your leader.
Oh no!
The Ferrari magic could be coming undone. Lojevic's in as well for the undercut. I think he is. Yes, he is. CJ in, Matty in. Lando staying out. No surprise right there, but that 5-second penalty is going to cost him. Yellow flags. That's Fire King. Never mind. Excuse me. He's right in front of Thrasher now. Gonna battle him. Out of the pits, Aaron Ocon is behind Surfy. So he did not get the outlap he wanted, so now Surfy's your net leader. And now these guys could gain on Lando, because Lando could be staying out for the rest of this race. It may happen, it may not. It's an indecisive one. Now the two Astons go side by side out of the pit lane. Here's Sam trying to get some traction and trying to find space to go. Here's Arnold on the both of them. There you go. Side by side into turn 4. Sam is trying to move too. On the inside line, he gets ahead of CJ.
Matty, look for
Those one-lap pressure tires. One-lap pressure tires for CJ. Didn't really help as he had to warm them up. But now Sam trying for a points position. He could definitely still do it. After the first lap, he got involved with something there. I don't know what it was, but you had the Chungus spinning around. Someone probably hit Sam with front wing damage to cause a stack up. So that could have easily done it, as your two leaders are in. Don't speed jab. Pluto stays out. Pluto has to stay out one more, and Joseph is in. Chungus as well sees his teammate pitting. He cannot pit this lap. He also has to stay out. So similar situations for the both of them. So now I'm interested to see with Will and Surfy where they come out. Or sorry, where Polo and Jab come out compared to these guys. Excuse me. Polo God is exiting right now. Here's Will Cromack. Will Cromack is right near Polo. Polo with the overcut. Getting by Surfy when he most needed it. Right side by side in the pit exit. Here we go, into turn 1 and 2, side by side once again. They go wheel to wheel, with Will going ahead, but he has the 5-second time penalty to spare, with Polo got around the outside once again. Can't do it. Now Ardle and Sam once again, 11th place, side by side, drooling it out, and Sam is ahead. But that Aston Martin with the DRS is going to try it once more. The fastest lap goes to Rundle, but does Arnold go for it? Down the inside. Late lunge on the brakes. Heavily on the brakes, but gets ahead. Woo.
He's still having a hell of a battle.
Yeah, they are. Sam Seat's probably just happy to be battling at this point. Polo God went wide, and now Surfy takes the net lead once again.
It's good. Good little race.
I definitely think Aaron Ocon would be in a better position if he started on those medium tires. Or sorry, hards. And was on the medium tires now. That is the big thing for him. Pluto and Chungus surely going to be pitting this time. Pluto is in on lap 18 out of 29. Pluto trying to get it down to 50 miles per hour. He does so. Chungus now, the same for him could be said. Chungus is actually going to be staying out longer, as well as Lando. Chungus hasn't pitted at all. Lando has. So Lando could be stretching this.
Sorry, it's just, I decided to look at Fire King and Thrasher instead of having a battle, and Fire King just rammed into the back of Thrasher and spun him.
Alrighty then, well we got Polo God and Surfy back at it again. Polo God gets ahead. And now Jab and Aaron as well behind them. Sam and Ardo once again, 11th place. Here we go, turn one, side by side, almost touching wheels. Nice little battle. They're touching wheels now. They both go off. CJ gonna go through. He splits them and goes ahead.
Through goes Hamilton.
Oh, they're three wide. Now here's Maddie on the outside line. But CJ had to give the place back. Yes, he did, but Polo God's around. Polo's around, and now he is 7th place in this race. Not what he needed. The net leader goes to Surfy now. Pluto and Joseph side by side out of turn 10. Lajovic's there as well. The more battling, the more it's going to hurt him when catching Polo. But the more it continues. Pluto down the inside. Side by side once again. Pluto trying to get ahead. Joseph there as well for company. Lajovic on the outside line trying to get by Joseph and maybe find a hole, but can't do so. Oh, late braking. He doesn't hit the back of him, luckily. However, is our race leader in? Yes, he is. And Lando stays out. So Lando maybe trying to go the full distance here.
Seems like it.
Well, not the full distance, excuse me, but the
around again.
Full distance from the safety car, excuse me. But as Chungus comes in, he's going to be either 10th or 11th with the way this can shape up. It looks like 10th is where he'll be. So with Polo God's spin, 8 points he'd only get. 8 points. Well, 9 with the pole. But that's still not good for his championship's sake. When he's under pressure, look at what happens. And Chungus comes out right in front of Maddie. Chungus will have to warm up those tires a little bit, so Maddie will be closer. And on the back of him, Ardle's still close to Sam for an amazing battle for 11th and 12th place this race. But Lando, on lap 20, has this lead. And if you think about it, his gap to Surfy is 4 seconds. So all he really needs is to stay within 5 seconds of Will and stay ahead of Surfy. But here comes Jab, because Surfy's gone wide. And now Jab trying for the net lead. This is just going to cost him time. Look at this, 3 seconds now to Will. It's a race where you just don't want to be the net leader, I guess.
Is this... It's starting to look possible if they keep battling. Will still might win this. If he can just get that gap. If he pulls out 5
seconds. This is the same situation as Italy a couple weeks ago with Joseph. He's got that gap almost to 5. He just needs 2 more seconds right there.
2 more seconds, and they're still battling massively.
3 seconds. If they DRS off each other, they'll be okay, but the more they go, the more it hurts their time. Here comes Surfy. Aaron Ocon is now out of that podium place now. Polo got with the fastest lap, and here comes Surfy. Down the inside, gonna go through. Oh, but he goes wide. That's the issue with them again. They go wide. Jab goes through, and now the gap is 3.3.
Surfy was
Joseph
like
and
little to no ERS.
Turn 1. Lajovic had to go very wide right there. Not much changed the running order between them. However, your race leader, Will Cromack, well, I should say Lando, is under attack from Will Cromack. Excuse me.
Oh,
He'll give Will DRS, but the thing with Will is he's being held up by Lando. Lando, with that straight line speed, on that setup, just continuing to pull away. 2.8 now, that gap. Chat, who is going to finish on the podium in this race? That gap with Will to Aaron is not 5 seconds, so Aaron would still be 5th. And his cousin's coming. His cousin's coming at a fast rate. Here comes Will Cromack as well at a fast rate. On the back of Lando. Still can't get through. Lando's fighting for a pure track position right here at 2.7 seconds.
At this
Is
point,
Lando
man.
either banking on a safety car or staying out the whole race? That's the big question. Lando still stays out. So you know he's extending these tires as long as he can. The DRS is enabled, but Lando's still holding on. Now Will is going to duck alongside. Lando pulls right. Then Will goes around the outside. Side by side at turn 1. Does Lando have the traction? He's going to get the DRS for turn 2, though. Not enough room to get it. However, he's going to fight this one back. Which way does he go? Inside, outside. There he goes, around the outside. Side by side. Deep into the corner. He goes wide. He fought it a little too much, but he's going to keep DRS maybe for turn 10 if he keeps this gap. What a good battle, though. 2.1 now to Lando. Jab is.
At this point, if I was Jab and Surfy, I'd be thanking Lando. That battling has brought that gap all the way down.
It's brought Aaron's gap down to still 5.9. It's not anything what it was. Lando with DRS now. Lando is fighting for a podium place. He's in this fight still. Polo got in the back of Aaron Ocon for 5th place. The two cousins going at it. Yellow flags. It's the two O'Callahans, but ahead goes Polo God for 5th place. Now going to attack Surfy once more. That gap in the championship now sits at 16 points. With this being said, 1.4 Lando is. Lando's still hanging on very well, actually. Look at that gap to Jab. Not DRS just yet. Yellow flags once again. There's a Alpine around? Or Red Bull? Is that Lojovic? That is.
About the
that is Lojovic, excuse me. That's Lojovic. Lojovic was the one around. That's 9th place, so now that invites Chungus to a potential another points position. Lando's gap, by the way, is not changing anytime soon because you can see no DRS for Jab that time, but 2.2. So now it did change a little bit, but he is hanging on for what could be a good result for McLaren. McLaren needed this, especially with Alfa Romeo's day. They needed to find some points. Sam Steed and CJ this time. It's not Ardle and Sam, it's Sam and CJ. Sam going ahead. CJ still has his nose in. Gonna pull it alongside. Sam Steed having a great ding-dong battle for 12th place. Again, around the outside, side by side, CJ's right there still. And CJ is going to go ahead in the Mercedes. He's had a decent race, besides the fact that he fell out to outside the points. He's been battling a lot of drivers, whereas in that Mercedes, he didn't really have that in the other races that he's done this season. Here we go, 2nd place, Jab and Lando. Will this battling affect them? Side by side. Jab ahead, but Lando fights this back and can't fight it back anymore. Is it going to be a first win for Surfy? Another first win for Lando as well? Another driver trying to get a first win? Or is it going to be Jab winning a 2nd race of the season? Or potentially Will Cromack? It's more yellow flags. That's Logic. No, it's not Logic. Sorry, that's his teammate. That one is, yeah. And Will Cromack looking to win for the first time in 2 seasons. Jab is ahead currently, with Lando behind in DRS, battling it out still. Which way does Surfy go? If he makes a move, won't go anywhere, because Lando's around the outside. Gonna be wheel to wheel once again. At turn 2, Lando fighting this, but they're just losing time.
They're not being smart here.
Here goes Surfy again. Is he trying for a move once again? Yes, down the inside. He knows this is for first podium place. He's got the move done on Lando.
At this point,
if I'm Lando, I'm just content with the top 5 at this point.
Yeah, at this point,
if
they're all battling for a win.
Right.
If they're smart about this, and yet that's Lando at the 5 seconds gap to Will.
Yeah, so there you go. There's the difference. That is exactly what has happened here. Ferrari have not won a race since Aaron Ocon back in Imola last season at round number 10. They're still looking to win another one. They have the most wins in this league, believe it or not. Or they did at one point. Excuse me. 3.6. Paulo God's in DRS. If Lando is outside that 5-second gap, at least maybe Polo God can get in it. Excuse me. Yeah, Haas have the most amount of wins. Ferrari at one point did. They're at 9. They could be going double digits today. If things were to change, Lando's outside of DRS, it looks like there's more yellow flags. That is Sam. That could be rear wing damage. That's unfortunate. He was having great battles today, but looks like the battling comes to an end. Polo God now for 4th place in this race. This is crucial. Lando lets him go. Is that what Lando was doing? Was Lando helping out Polo there for the championship's sake here to allow Polo to close back up?
Possible.
It is very possible, but he also is 5th place with his own race right there too. So not bad at any standpoint for Lando there to help out Polo. That's that difference in points between Chungus and Polo is now 14 points. Polo God is still improving on his lap time as well, going faster in the first sector. Yes, he had DRS, but that's still crucial to mention. And Surfy trying to keep that gap with Will under 5 seconds. He's just barely in it with 5 laps remaining.
And he's about to start battling Jab again.
I know. Surfy wants a podium. Surfy wants to win. He knows it's just right in front of him. But
this is just
costing both of yourselves. Thing is, the 1-2 came undone when Will got the speeding penalty. But even when Aaron couldn't even get the undercut done. So we could see not even a Ferrari on podium if things were to change drastically.
Right there.
I know. Polo's gap to Will now is 5.7. It was originally 6.4 at the beginning of last lap. Yeah. Yellow flags.
Sam Steedy's just going to slide.
I don't want any safety car to interfere with this. I don't. I really don't, because this is getting to be a great battle for this win. Will's trying to hold on. He's got no battery. Surfy's got no battery. Polo's got no battery, but Jab does, and Jab can use it anytime he wants. Surfy's closing in once again. 4.4 that gap. So now, if we reflect to the gap to the lead, Jab's in it, Surfy just barely in it. So things could be changing in the next 4 laps. Fire King, Thrasher, they pit for softs. They're going to steal a fastest lap off whoever has it. That's Fire King, actually. He'd steal it off himself.
He's planning to steal it off the person who wants to steal it off him.
Someone who's had a quiet day and not really been too impressive compared to last week is Pluto. He didn't really put too much practice into this race. He's just looking to have fun, it looks like. And he is 7th. Didn't get into Q3 at all. That was a little bit of a disappointment, surely. But he's now 7th. Got the chance to pass Aaron late in this race, or even Lando for 5th place. So credit to him, at least, to try to get the max amount of points for Haas available, you know? With the gap being 22-ish points, 23 points, a lot can change. And Sam Steed is still going slow. I think he's going for a fast lap. He's trying to set himself up for a fastest lap to where he doesn't get lapped. Or he does get lapped by the end once he does it. So we'll see. Now, this is important to mention. Surfy is only 1/10 from being without that 5-second gap to Will. This is what we missed from Monza with Joseph. But the other car, Surfy, also could have had a podium in that race too. And now he's fighting for his first. More battling. Do we see it? Jab's got battery to use. Does he use it? No, he doesn't. Here comes Surfy. The battling continues. Side by side. And there you go. No places traded, but Aaron Ocon gets through for 5th.
And now Polo is literally right behind him. Surfy slides slightly.
So Surfy's podium could be coming undone once again.
Not even just
the most 4th places.
As well. He's getting
before
closer
a podium.
and closer.
Here's Pluto on Lando. Which way? Around the outside. That was very late from both of them. But Pluto is trying to get the move done, and he does. 6th place. There you go. Lodgevic also still fighting for 9th, by the way, with Chungus. He could take some points off as Polo could take some points off as Surfy to help his championship's sake. Let me speak about Surfy for a quick moment, because he's running just outside that 5-second. It's 5.2. The thing with Surfy, with his finishes, is the man who has the most 4th place finishes is the one in the commentary box with 4. The most 4th places before a first podium. I can't think of who would have got it, but I could tell you right now, though, Rowdy and Surfy have a pair of 3. They have a pair of 3 4th places, tied 2nd all time. So keep in mind, a lot can happen, and there you go. Surfy did run off the track as Joseph got by Lando. Lando could still be finishing 8th in this race if he doesn't get a puncture. And if he does get a puncture, well, more points for Chungus. Not what Polo would want. 2 laps remaining. We're on the penultimate lap.
Jab is starting to use that URS now.
Here comes Polo. Polo thought about it. Remember, he got a penalty last week for something in the braking zone. He hit Matty. That costed him. Jab slid right there out of turn 2. It didn't cost him time to will, but this gap for the race victory is going to be very close. It could be our closest victory yet in this league. Surfy goes wide. This is an opportunity for Polo to take the podium place. Doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. 3 fourth places previously for Surfy. If this is a 4th, surely he's going to be frustrated with himself after all the practice he did to find a setup worth this AlphaTauri to get a first podium. That gap is now 4.7. The thing with Will that I'm worried about is, although he's using that overtake, Will has binned it in the lead many times before. Italy is a prime example. Saudi is also an example of having a penalty while leading. He didn't crash, but he got a penalty. And Lodjevic's got a 5-second time penalty for exceeding the track limits as he's been passed by Chungus. So I don't know how that's happened, but that will allow Matty to get to the top 10 as we're about to reach the final lap.
Oh, this gap between Will and Jab is so close. It's been so close this entire time. All it will take
This
is
reminds
one
me of Portugal.
small mistake.
This reminds me of Portugal from Season 1. Will is not off his fastest lap by much. He was a 10th off of it. As for Jab, he was 23 thousandths off of it. The final lap is underway. The battle continues on. It's penalty versus second on track. What's the gap going to be by the end of this lap?
Pretty much everyone's ERS is gone now.
Surfy knows if he attacks Jab in second place, it may not be the win, but it's at least a podium because you don't invite Polo through at that point. He has to try something to maintain it in case there's a mistake, but the gap is 4.5. It's coming down. Then it goes back right back up. 4.7 now. This is going to be a fight to the finish. Pluto and Aaron are also close while there's a yellow flag. Matty gets by Lodjevic, but Pluto's down the inside of Aaron. Aaron, oh, there's contact. Aaron has let that one go easily, but he's got the position once again. His teammates now fighting for the win. Pluto back down the inside. He gets into Aaron. There's contact. And now the leader, as well, has had his gap go down. Pluto and Aaron once again battling it out. Pluto gets ahead. There's a yellow flag on the straightaway. That is Sam Steed. However, the battling continues for 5th place. However, it is 2nd place who could be winning this race on track. The gap for Surfy isn't down for 2nd place. This is going to be a fight with Surfy, though. But Will Cromack wins the race on track. Jab, when he needs it most, is going to return to the top step of the podium. Surfy gets onto the podium for the first time in URS. He gets back after many 4th place finishes. It was 3 previously. Now he's on the podium with Will P3, a podium for the first time since Australia, round number 1 of Season 3. And Polo God completes the top 4. What a close gap. And to put that into perspective, we've got battles continuing. I just want to say that, in fact, with Will's podium, let me just remind you how long it's been.
Here comes the donuts from Thrasher and Viking.
For Will's podium streak, it's been 21 rounds. He's now back on the podium. For Surfy, it's start number 10 and podium number 1. So there you go. Sam Steed, Rundle all across the line. Rasher and Fire King just waiting to finish it off. Just finish the damn race. Williams and Haas continue to win races in URS and make themselves the only 2 teams who have won.
What?
We've got a minute left.
They're really milking this to like the max amount of time as possible.
I don't know. Thrasher's about to cross the line. Maybe not. For the first time since round 2, Jab has won. And we've had 4 different winners in the last 4 races. Is this a sign to come? We're on to Spain next week then. Williams take back-to-back after Haas took back-to-back and to-back. So, you know, those 4 race victories with 4 different winners was definitely very interesting to see. If they don't cross the line, they'd get classified with a DNF, by the way, from the game. That's definitely not changing from the results we do. Just thought I'd put that out there.
Crossing the line.
Do a donut across the line. Come on, do a donut. You got to cross the line. Thrasher is going to cross the line here, maybe?
Is he just going to keep... Wait,
no,
he's going to keep doing donuts. He's got 4 seconds.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, he just makes it. He just makes it.
Okay, so no DNF for Thrasher. 17.
Oh.
Oh, Chungus said from the start of the race, it was Surfy who got into him. He's not going to report it because if he were to get reported for that, Polo God would gain a place.
Pretty smart.
That is very tactical.
Mm.
Very tactical, in fact. That's fair. Well, AlphaTauri back on the podium. Ferrari back on the podium again. Williams on the podium once more. Chungus, the second race this season, he has not been on the podium. He finishes inside the points. But that championship lead is now heading back towards single digits. Here are your final results. How about you have a go at our final results?
Have your final results. So, obviously, final results. So I do top 10, just everyone.
Yes, top 10.
Alright. So in 10th, Mamu. 9th, Chungus. Why is Chungus's flag like some African country? And he said American. 8th is Lando. 7th is Josie. 6th is Aaron Archon. 5th, Pluto. 4th, Polo God. The podium. 3rd, Will Chromac. 2nd, Surfy. And the race winner, Jab. Big old Jab.
Hey, only a matter of 3 DNFs in this race, and they were all on the first lap. Think about if that never happened.
All in one
what
collision.
this race could have showed. Right, only one big collision. I think there was a couple. Pluto got intense with Aaron on that last lap, so I don't know if the steward's office will see it. I know they were probably frustrated with one another if Aaron was mad about losing the place. I don't see anything in main chat, so I doubt it. But Aaron gets another points position. Will Chromac as well, helping Ferrari's case. I think they'll pass McLaren. Alfa Romeo may be a bit of a stretch. I think they're close. They're either tied or they're 1 point apart. But either way, we're now into our podium sitters. And welcome along, guys. Will, it's been a long time. Welcome back. 21 races, by the way. I just thought I'd point that out to you before we get Surfy an invite, because he is cross-platform. But 21 races. 21.
Yeah, on that last race. Where was that at?
Australia. Season 3, round 1.
Did well at Australia. Jeez.
All right. Who would finish third? Just to refresh my
Me.
memory.
You sound very
Alright, we'll
depressed
get-
about that.
He does. He does. Well, we'll talk to you about it. Well, Chromac, P3. Your race went quite well, excluding the 5 second. You actually worked really well with Aaron Ocon, your teammate. And you had a teammate that was able to help you along to try to get another victory, which we haven't really seen you work with a teammate in a long while, if at all, in league racing so far. Another podium to your name, though. The first since Season 3, the opening round. How does it feel to be back up there, but what did the 5 second do to you with trying to hold that gap?
It's good to do well again. It's really not a strong track for me. Did not expect it whatsoever. To be honest, barely did any practice this week whatsoever. Just being too busy. The 5 second penalty, it was just stupid. Because I hadn't any practice, didn't practice on going pit lane. I was hoping Jab and Surf were going to do some sort of fighting, but no, know. I think they were kissing along the way, and then yeah, they just got past me. So there's not much I could have done, to be fair. I had no URS from start because I had to push from the very start with Aaron, and then yeah, I couldn't regain it in pit or anything.
To be back in that leading position, I know you had the 5 second there, but to be back up there for more periods of time than you have been the last couple of weeks, and since you've been in that Ferrari, how does it feel? And with this field potentially being even closer, how does that kind of fight feel? You were in that 53,000th gap with the top three in qualifying as well.
Yeah, I mean, the qualifying pace were really good. The hards were dreadful. They was absolutely, you could not get them warm. When you got them warm, they weren't keeping warm. They felt dreadful all the way throughout. That's why I went for sort of lap 16 pit onto mediums and try to stretch them out a bit further. And then everyone else followed through the next lap or two. So it's good. It's good to be back up there, but it's a shame the sort of situation that happened with it. I think there may be a penalty from what I've seen. I mean, there's some evidence that's been kept apparently, so we'll find that out.
Absolutely. Congratulations on the third place finish. Burning Man, any questions?
Nah, but just congrats on that podium. Unlucky, mate, that you got that close.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Hey, we get to interview three people again. So Burning Man, take second place over with Surfy.
All right then, Surfy. So obviously, hell of a race from you guys. Done a great job battling that much. With the gap to Will, 5 seconds. When you and Jab were when you and Jab were battling a lot, it seemed like it was actually harming your chances because you got very close to dropping out of the 5 seconds. You reckon it was smart to battle a lot, or do you think it might have been a mistake?
It probably wasn't that smart, I can't lie. I mean, Will clearly would have won if he didn't have the 5 seconds, and I thought if we kept on battling, then wouldn't really get a chance of a win. But yeah,
But so try. I can't think of anything.
Well, I have a question for you, Surfy. There was the incident on lap 1 with you and Chungus, and I know that's being talked about. I must ask, what happened there at lap 1, turn 1?
so I was braking normally. I tapped Chungus's rear, but that didn't spin him. Then his car started desyncing, and he just kept on like spinning onto my car. So I don't really know what happened. I mean, I'll check it, but if I'm being honest, it'll probably be a penalty. But yeah.
And if it isn't, you're on the podium for the first time since ever, right?
Yep.
And I mean, you were not going to go really counting F2, but in regards to you getting the podium after 3 fourth place finishes, how do you think of it all if it stays?
I'm just finding it relieved that I actually got to the podium, to be honest, especially at Bahrain when the odds weren't really against me, considering it's a pad track. But yeah, I'm just really happy it's finally happened, and yeah, I can get more up on the drive standings.
Well, the odds were in your favor for today, at least finish in the top 4, regardless of what happens. Well, congrats. Now on to, oh my god, I've just seen the lap 1 crash. All right then. Now on to our race winner, Jeboli MSU. You know, how did I not expect you to win this race? I sort of wonder that, because you're so good around here, but you've just not ended up getting that result. Is this what you needed to get back in that championship fight with Chungus, you feel? Or is it too little too late in your opinion?
Well, I think I was gonna win until like the last couple laps because I would say I knew Surfer was doing URS because I passed him, but I was kind of scared of Polo because I saw him flying back up. I didn't know Will's situation either. like saving everything for the last lap. But obviously with some things that happened to Chungus and what happened to Polo, even though he still finished P4. Obviously I'm closer. Obviously I'm gonna need another one of these to get even more closer. We need Chungus the Polo to have a little bit more trouble these next couple of races. I don't know how many races are left, but all we need is
4.
4. Well, I mean, it's possible. I won't rule anything out, but I'm just gonna try my best, and we just have to see what happens.
You've been so good at this track, but never got a podium or a win. How does it feel to finally get it done in this track? You know, when you've had things go your way and then not go your way, you could have seen 3 podiums at this racetrack before.
It's kind of crazy because the one time I actually didn't think I was gonna get a podium, ended up winning. So but I was kind of struggling. I crashed in qualifying, obviously. Not really thinking I was gonna do good this race, but then you just have to survive, and it feels good to finally be on top of the podium since Brazil.
And I'm just gonna calculate this quickly, but Chungus got P2, Polo got P4. If we add that up, if I look at this championship, Chungus is 126. You have 102. That's 24 points. You're within a race now. Are you feeling confident to make something of it at a track where you won last season? France, where it's been hit or miss for you, I would say. I think that's fair, but you seem good there. Netherlands is unpredictable for everybody. And then Abu Dhabi, you won last season.
Spain, I'm a little bit worried about, even though I did win. It was kind of got lucky. But then France, the Williams obviously is slow in a straight line, so that's gonna be a little bit, Netherlands, I think it'll be better. In Abu Dhabi, I think those gonna be better tracks for me in general, especially with the car and everything.
And the Williams.
Yeah, in the Williams. So, but then I also have to fight with Chungus, but we just gotta avoid incidents, and we have to see what happens. All it takes is one crash, one mistake, one penalty, and it changes everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations on the win. Burning Man, any questions?
Just congrats, mate. You did good.
Thank you.
So Spain is next week, and that will be on March 12th. I must say, what an interesting race. What an interesting ending with how that was. I'm ready for next week because I feel like with the changes this grid has had with Rundle and Carlos and everyone else just being on the back foot, I guess, with not as much practice. We saw a closer race than expected, a closer qualifying than expected. And now as we head on to the next race, we can maybe even see the same happen. All it takes is one bad race, like Jab said. All it could take is one bad qualifying. We saw that from a couple of people. So let's see what happens. Next week, Spain, round number 9. And it will be 12 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. UK, as always. I think it actually will be 1 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. UK because of the 4-hour difference. Yes, it will. So we will make sure that is confirmed. Either way, tune in next week for the Spanish Grand Prix. 4 races remaining. And we will see you then.